let the games begin. No call was forthcoming. It's palms down from the chair umpire.
Both players seem to think that ball was going long. Sinner obviously left it. Rune looked surprised when no call came. Just clipping the back edge. Sinner's coach, one of his coaches, Darren Cahill, mentioning that he needs to serve well. Completely agree with that. The previous match, Rune really did a good job attacking the Mirmir Kecmanovic second serve in particular. He's got so much firepower. I would expect a lot of first serves from Sinner to go into the Danes' forehand today. It's the more erratic wing, particularly on return. But watch out for a lot of big hits coming off that forehand once we get into the rallies here.
It's always a tricky one to navigate, isn't it? When somebody's got a weapon that also leaks errors. You do run the risk of them clubbing a winner or two that you don't expect.
And that almost cost Kecmanovic in the fifth set in particular. He was targeting the forehand throughout the match, but in the fifth set, when Rune was tired, he was just swinging for it, and he was hardly missing.
Here's the center camp, Simone Vagnozzi on the left. Sitting alongside his strength and conditioning coach in the blue with the glasses, Marco Panicchi. Aces are popular here, as is the man who is courtside with us this afternoon, John Fitzgerald. Fitzy, give us an idea of what the conditions are like down there. And first of all, a warm welcome.
Thank you, Robbie. Always great to be with you. And look, it's not as hot as I expected. I would think mid to highest 20s, but it's overcast. There is more humidity here than you normally experience in Melbourne, though. Usually a very dry heat. But today, quite humid, more than hot, I would say, and it'll sap them a little bit if the match goes long. But conditions could be much worse, and they're really not too bad.
It's interesting with regards to the conditions. Rune's match 15. A couple of nights ago on Margaret Court Arena with Kecmanovic, he was starting to cramp under 3 hours of play. Now, I think that really shows what sort of athlete he is. For me, he's more of a muscle car, if you like. You know, he can really, he's got some serious horsepower. Maybe not quite the engine of some other players. It's full power in the majority of shots. Oh, big hit there from Sinner. Definitely be keeping an eye on the energy levels for Holger Rune throughout this one.
Love 30. Love 40.
I think the first set, given how much time Holger has spent on court, is way more important for Rune than what it is for Sinner. Given what you've also just said about cramping.
Game. Sinner.
Yeah, that's a tough start. Agree with you. And I also think the first set is big for Rune in terms of
Sinner
just the matchup, almost the psyche. You know, he will have felt like he was in that mix with Sinner and Alcaraz, but now we're playing here with Sinner, world number 1. Rune dropped 9 spots below his career high of 4. He's playing here at 13 in the world. So just to feel like he's sort of as good as Sinner, he's at the same level as him, I think the first set will be important. And that's a pretty rough start.
Broken to love.
He was broken to love, and I felt like Sinner didn't do anything
Love 50.
overly impressive in that last game. Rune missed 3 balls by a fair way. The last one, well, the last 2 balls were halfway, or a third of the way at least, down the net. So he's just a tiny bit out of sorts. I wonder whether he's trying to loosen up in the first couple of games after that marathon the other night. We'll see.
Simply stunning from Sinner. What a start.
First real example of Sinner's ability to stay low to the court. Look at the position he's in there to strike that backhand. If he comes up and out of that ball at all, he probably misses. That is as good a two-hander as you could wish for.
Yeah, those are the Dunlop balls that we use, of course. We played here for the very first time in 1988. It's the 38th edition here at Melbourne Park. It's called the Melbourne Arena back then. Fitzy would have remembered it well. His good mate Pat Cash playing an epic 5-set final against Mats Wilander. Of course, for many years played on the grass courts in Kooyong. What a magnificent tennis club that is. And how the footprint here at Melbourne Park has expanded and evolved.
All right, and saying Robbie, Mats Wilander, the only player to win at both venues.
I believe you are spot on.
Yeah, you thought it would be Fitzy coming with a history lesson, didn't you? Got a few surprises.
No surprises with the quality of that serve. I'll tell you why, coming into 8 months prior to winning here last year, his serving numbers were unbelievable. He was winning just over 91%, 91.1 to be precise. of service games. And we thought those numbers are jaw-dropping. And the following 12 months thereafter, not only did he maintain those numbers, but improved a couple of decimal points.
Game, Sinner. Sinner leads.
It was a serving season for the ages for Sinner. And he's got the perfect start here. It's 3-zip in no time. Up until winning the AO last year, 91.9% service games won. And he upped it to 91.5% last year. There was no drop-off. That's laid the foundation for so many victories. You serve well, you play well, but of course we know he's one of the best returners, so there's no reprieve, and Rune's already found that out.
Love.
Looking to win an 18 straight Grand Slam match on hard courts, folks. Becoming the youngest player to do that since Johnny Mack.
40. Love.
I don't know how great the modern day players are at moving, but when I watch some of the old footage of Johnny Mack, man, that guy was quick. Doesn't get enough credit for how quick he was back in the day.
The best players have always been the best movers, haven't they? If you leave the ball short in the court, that's what's going to happen. Just
40-15.
absolutely dispatch this forehand. Plenty of work on the ball, combined with speed. That's not coming back. It just feels like a bit of a slow start here for Rune.
40-30.
I think maybe just trying to get the adrenaline going in the body again. He was very close to going out the tournament against Kecmanovic. 4-2 down in the fourth, 2-1 down. The Serbian serving at 30 love, and he then he took the safety catch off, just started to tee off, swing for the hills, and somehow it worked for him. He finished that match with 83 winners, 44 coming on his forehand. You just feel if Rune's going to win today, he's going to have to elevate his forehand to those kind of levels.
Sinner leads 3-1.
Here's his coach, Lars Christensen. He has been coaching Holger since he was 8 years old. He's back on the bag now. Full house, just about here on the Rod Laver Arena. Second week of a major. It's where you want to be.
$15 left.
Absolute perfection.
Well, Sinner dominates with the forehand again. Look at that. The average forehand speed so far in this match. Sinner, 12 kilometers an hour. Faster on average at 137. That's about as big as it gets, Robbie. Anything 130 plus is top end in this sport. He's crushing his forehand early on here.
30-15.
Let's melt it into his strings. He's looking for it. Boomski. Thanks for coming. Barely got out of a service motion, Sinner. Watch this. Gets his feet set, and it's by him.
Let's. First serve. Let's. First serve.
He's just missed it. But you've got two players that not only hit the ball hard, but are phenomenal athletes.
30-all.
Yeah, nice change up here from Rune. Bit of feel. It was incredible movement from Sinner, wasn't it? Very nearly made the shot.
You play the very best. There is just no reprieve. You can never lose concentration. Just for a second there, Rune is probably thinking he's won the point outright. No.
Chipping the forehand return that time. Oh,
40.
nice catch there from the ball keeper. It's an area that Rune, he needs to find solutions for me. Never sure on the forehand return whether to swing hard, whether to use the pace, whether to block. And if he is going to block, that's fine, putting the ball in play, but he's got to get it a lot deeper. He's got to maybe even try and get it towards the backhand corner of Sinner. Can't just leave it sitting on the tee as he did there.
Game. Sinner.
A couple of big misses on the backhand for Rune. One halfway up the net.
4 games to 1.
But Sinner's in charge after 5 games. It's 4-1. Want some nice shade. Sit next to the river, have some lunch, come back and watch some tennis.
15. Left.
Of course, the tournament director, Craig Tiley, and his team have made a big effort to get even more shaded area in and around the grounds. 50% more this year. It's always about making that fan experience as best as possible. These are the biggest annual sporting events, certainly 4 of them. The 4 tennis majors. Service game that he would have wanted, Colin, with a crack at Sinner's serve with the balls as old as possible in the next game.
Yeah, just needs to build his way into this, Rune. Get his intensity up.
How was the backhand in his previous match, Rune's?
40-15.
Against Kecmanovic, was it the forehand or the backhand that was perhaps leaking more errors?
The forehand was definitely the difference maker, and it got him through the match in the end, the ability to hit big, hit winners. His backhand was pretty solid. It's struggling a little bit so far today.
Game. Rune.
It just feels like Rune's a little maybe sluggish with his feet, not quite up to the speed yet. Is that fair?
I think you're on the money, per
Sinner
usual, Colin.
leads
I think
4 games
whether
to 2.
those first 3 long, tough matches have had an effect on him early, I don't know. But logic says yes, because I think he's just been a bit sluggish. And when he's not into position, he misses. These players are so good. You know, even despite how hard they hit the ball, when they miss by small margins. But he has missed, you know, 6 or 8 balls in this match so far by a long way. Now, that's usually an indication of being a bit sluggish into position, I believe, anyway. And he's just starting to loosen up now. I mean, his timing off the ground is better the last game and a half or 2 games.
Yeah, much sharper point there. He's waiting for the wide serve again to start the game. He just got himself in a bit of a mess under the high backhand volley.
Sometimes he just doesn't look like a complete player yet, does he? I mean, he does so many things as well as the best players, but he's just not quite complete yet. He's got some work to do, but he's knocking on the door.
Seems to have found his legs. He's spent a lot more time on court versus his opponent. Colin touched on it. 10 hours and 4 minutes for Holger, 7 hours and 27 minutes. Of course, that's been updated now with the match ongoing. So it was 2.5 hours more on court for Rune.
It's like an extra match, isn't it? And he was downing the pickle juice towards the end against Kecmanovic, trying to fight off the cramps. Probably just a bit of lactic acid in those sizable quads still.
30-15.
And I think realistically, Colin, you know, if you have to go through an experience like that and you have to fight off the cramps in a previous round, history says that it is difficult to back it up and to back it up 2 or 3 more times. So it leaves a question mark.
.91 second serve there from Sinner, bringing a lot of variety in that department. It's not just kick serves, it's not just one direction. He's moving it around the box, he's varying the speeds and spins. It's a sign of mastery, isn't it? And complete confidence.
Yeah, Keller's out of his chair, making sure he keeps up the intensity, concentration.
Let's serve.
Darren Cain, of course, a semi-finalist at the US Open in singles. Played well on the hard courts to DC.
Game, Sinner.
And he's looking rock solid behind his
Balls,
serve.
please. Sinner leads 5 games to 2.
5-2 after 27 minutes to the defending champion. It's been a tough start for Rune, serving to stay in the opening set.
15 love.
New balls in play. They're always going to be
30 love.
a bit quicker and livelier. Sinner just missed time in the backhands there.
The sun's come out too cold, so that makes a subtle difference as well. It's a bit warmer.
Yeah, this time of day with the sun out, new balls. They're quick, lively conditions.
Thirty, 15. Forty, 15. Game, Rune.
So apart from his opening service game, he has been pretty good behind his deal.
Sinner
So Colin and
5
Fitzy,
games to 3.
question for both of you. If we agree that Rune's got all these attributes, why haven't we seen him move up at the same sort of pace as somebody like an Alcaraz or the guy on the other side of the net today?
It's a great question. A couple of things come into my mind. I think there's been an impatience. I think he's almost wanted it yesterday, and that's played a factor in terms of the number of coaches that have come and gone. A bit of a revolving door in the last 2 seasons. Patrick Mouratoglou came on board initially alongside Lars Christensen. Then Christensen left. It was just Mouratoglou. Then Boris Becker was the next option. Severin Luthi joined them for a very short period. It felt like a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it was just this period, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a little bit in the off-season.
And that ended. Back to Mouratoglou, now back to Christensen. And all the while, I think his mother Annika's in the background, you know, heavily involved in his tennis still. So there's been, I think, a lot going on, and an urgency and impatience, and maybe not focusing on what's important, which is developing his game. And as Fitzy said, courtside, I think that's resulted in Alcaraz, Sinner, you know, moving ahead by a good couple of levels, I think. Sinner, very complete player now, but he's worked on the serve. He's added variety. He's built the net game. He's got stronger physically. Rune probably still the player he was a couple of seasons ago. But not only the sort of stop-start nature to his development, I think in that period as well, he's probably lost,
30,
you know, tactically, the sort of clarity of how he's trying to play. Sometimes it's the most powerful tennis you've ever seen. Sometimes he's quite patient behind the baseline. Darren Cahill said it, you're never quite sure. Almost got to respond. I think he's lost that clarity and focus on development. So, look, he's 13 in the world. He's 21 years of age. It's not a disaster by any means, but his progress hasn't been as quick as the other youngsters.
Sinner very much part of that growth mindset. Always fine-tuning, always looking to make improvements. This set has been almost faultless on serve. He's got 3 set points here.
And I think this first set means more than most first sets in matches.
Game in first set, Sinner, 6-3.
Very efficient from the top seed. He wins the opening set 6-3, 34 minutes. Good.
Him.
Already.
See if he can keep it up.
Oh. 15 left.
I suppose Rune's view is that he's only been broken once. He had a slow start, and since then it's been even Steven. I think that's the way you got to try and view it.
Left. (40-15).
Well, he's just gesturing that strings might be a bit loose there. It's a big difference here in the play conditions between the day session and the night session. It was a late finish, nearly 1 AM against Kecmanovic, so the conditions a lot slower, a lot deader. Ball not jumping as high. This is different, and that's just making life a little harder for Rune as well.
First game, second set.
He's going to have to improve from the back of the court, because at the moment he is being bullied somewhat.
Certainly is. We've spoken of the intensity of the two players, but look at the red line there. That's Jannik Sinner, the world number one's average rally hit point, hugging the baseline. He's the one that's sort of busy up on the baseline, dictating the rallies, and Rune over a meter on average behind the baseline. He's sort of the one trying to absorb the power he's being dictated to so far in this match. So, you know, Rune really needs to respond to that.
Yeah, when you take into consideration, Colin, that this guy's forehand is about 12 kilometers an hour faster than Rune's. He's having to deal with the pace and the fact that Sinner's taking it early. It's double trouble right now for Holger.
$15 left.
Sinner beat Nicholas Jerry in the opening round, and Aussie wildcard Tristan Schoolkate. Schoolkate had a very good opening set against the #1 seed before going down, and then the previous round It was Marcus Giron who Sinner beat in straights, the American. Best result for him, incidentally, here.
30 left.
Only losses on a hard court since Vienna 2023. To Carlos Alcaraz. And that, of course, is after winning the first set.
I did that match with Marcus Giron in the
30,
third round, Robbie.
15.
Sinner is another level today. He's timing the ball better. He's making less unforced errors. He's more tuned in. He's been very, very good so far here.
Well, there he is again, right up on top of the baseline, dictating the play from the middle of the court as well.
40-15.
As you said, Robbie, he's not exactly pushing the ball either. He's hitting big. It's a potent combination. Too much for Rune so far. He has quite big wind-ups, doesn't he, Rune, as well, forehand and backhand. You know, so if you can rush him with that time and power, I think that's where some of the errors are coming from.
Game, Sinner.
Yeah, when one guy's up on the baseline and the other guy's behind, there's still the same distance between the two players. So, you know, you might think that they've got the same amount of time, but in fact, they don't, because the guy up on the baseline is dictating the play, as you say, Cole, and the guy behind the baseline is reacting. He's not dictating, he's reacting, and usually the ball from his racket is not as effective as the guy who's dictating. So he's being rushed more, and he's hitting the ball more in the middle of the court, allowing Sinner, and it's because he's being bullied. He's got the power, but because he's being rushed a bit, he's making more errors.
There's that lovely quote by Andre Medvedev when he was playing against Andre Agassi, who notoriously took the ball so early, and he was asked about it, and he said it's like taking dictation from someone who talks very quickly. Well, that was a nice analogy. Just slow down, hang on. Just do it again. Just give me more time.
15.
Like his sister and mum.
I usually get that for the Scottish accent, Robbie. Subtitles required.
Oh, brilliant.
Do my best for you guys.
Haven't understood a word you've said so far, Cole.
Probably for the best.
Not at all, mate.
30.
Understand very clearly. And love the analogies. I like that play from Rune, though. As soon as he saw the slice,
40-15.
nothing really wrong with the slice, except these modern players, as soon as they see it, they jump around and use their biggest weapon, and he was inside the baseline that time. So he, on that occasion, he rushed Jannik.
That was full tilt.
40.
I'm slightly surprised tactically from Rune that he's taking Sinner on from the baseline here. And that's where Sinner is the best in the world over the last 12 months. He's only been to the net 3 times, Rune. No serving volleys. And I think he has that in his skill set.
Pyrotechnic tennis at its very best.
What a combination from Sinner. When he strikes this forehand down the line, you think it's game over for Rune, who did so well to absorb it, but then the backhand equally is good. That is world #1 tennis.
Yeah, there's a reason, isn't there? There's a reason he's #1.
How do you like that?
Advantage. Rune.
What a get. What camera work from the crew. Capture these amazing images. It's a popular choice of second serve, and it often bears fruit.
The opponent he's facing, if he goes 2 sets to love down here, very, very difficult to win 3 sets in a row, even if he's feeling fresh.
And you saw that graphic that we provided since Vienna 2023. Only one player has beaten Sinner on a hard court after Sinner won the opening set, and that's Carlos Alcaraz twice. I was just having a look at some numbers that Sinner has been posting since the beginning of last year when his run started, and against top quality opposition, against the top 20. He has 27 wins and just 6 losses from last year. And you compare that to, say, somebody like Carlos Alcaraz, who's, I guess, been the next best player, especially when you look at the majors. Carlos has only won 73% of those matches. Sinner, 82. So really highlighting how much better he has been against the top 20 and just about everybody else. That's nice. And then you compare it to the top 10 over the same time frame. 78% win rate for Sinner. Carlos is just 70% win rate. I say just because it's so impressive what sort of numbers Sinner has been posting. 8 titles, 2 majors, season-ending champion, as well as Davis Cup champion as well. Let's not forget about that. Just one thing on the Davis Cup. I don't know about you, Colin, but for me, that win over Djokovic at the tail end of 2023, when he beat him after saving match points, he was down love 40. I think it was at 4-5 in the third. Of course, went on to beat him. For me, that was a plot point in his career.
I think it was the catalyst, the springboard, particularly the week before. Djokovic had taught him a bit of a lesson, hadn't he?
Yep.
In the final of the ATP finals. Many people thought Sinner was going to win that one. And then the very next week goes to the Davis Cup finals, beats Djokovic in singles and doubles.
Yes.
And I think that gave him an awful lot of belief.
40 love.
And I think it was the end of 2010 where it was a similar sort of scenario for Novak, right? Win the Davis Cup for Serbia. And then they go on, he goes on to have that amazing 2011 season.
Game, Sinner. 2 games all.
Italy, of course, defended that Davis Cup title. In fact, Italians did the double on the Billie Jean King Cup as well, led by Jasmine Paolini. Serious tennis force the Italians in this day and age.
Thank you.
Definitely feel like the quality has been upped
15
in the opening 4 games of the set.
Quite significantly from Rune, who's now showing us what he's capable of here.
left. Let's serve. (30-15).
Well, we can see he's talking about shot quality and speed. Rune forehand has got a little bit more bite to it now, Colin.
Yeah. Yeah, he's entered the chat, hasn't he? Context of this match. Everything just improving a few percent, and that's giving him slightly more time to use his forehand. But that's a careless couple of points. A double fault. Misses the easy forehand there. And all of a sudden, he's under some real pressure here.
30-all.
They had only leaked one unforced error up until that point.
And this is what Sinner does as well. You know, it's just relentless. Never really has a dip in his own focus. So you can ill afford one yourself.
It's unbelievable, because before the previous point, one forehand unforced error and 5
30,
winners off that
40.
wing. But, you know, you make 2 in a row with a double fault and you're in a world of hurt suddenly. That's how quickly the momentum changes against the very best. We were discussing the fact that this guy has so many weapons, Rune. The fact that he's such a good athlete, he's got so many attributes. But for me, the biggest one is between the ears. I think that's where Alcaraz and Sinner have improved a lot more than him over the last 2.5 years. I think a lot more stable. That translates to better shot selection.
And I think that's where even Sinner has the advantage over Alcaraz at this stage. Alcaraz spoke to that end at the tail end of last season. Just the feeling that Sinner is always there, sort of 9 out of 10, just relentless, sort of high level. Alcaraz has every shot in the book, can play any way he wants, but just prone to a few more dips, isn't he? A little in and out with his focus. Sinner, not so. He is sensing an opportunity right here.
I think the bottom line is, I mean, we're comparing Rune. He's been obviously higher than this in his ranking, but currently 13, and we are comparing him to the 2 best players in the world. He's not as complete as they are yet. Doesn't mean he won't be one day, but he's still on that learning curve, and you can sense the difference here, especially in a game like this. Those two guys have a drop much less frequently in their games. He's got the top end stuff.
There's no question. He's got the top end stuff. Massive serve and forehand there.
Game, Rune.
Could be a very important hold in the context of the second set. The Danes are happy. 3-2 it is.
Yes, it's a bit emotional, Robbie. Thank you. About 3 hours ago, and it's a big deal in a family. You got to take your hat off to those girls.
Now the world is a better place with
15.
Fitzy family around.
Well, you're too kind, but it just reminds me, we've got it a bit easy, haven't we? Sitting in these comfortable seats, calling tennis matches. Holy smoke.
We're very lucky.
Yeah.
We certainly are.
Yeah, go Lizzie. That's what I say.
$15 all.
Have you guys noticed anything physical up there?
With Sinner you're talking about?
Maybe.
He definitely looks to be walking a little gingerly to me.
Yeah, I wondered 4 games ago whether there was something low on the left side in the back. But don't quote me on that, whatever you do.
Yeah, he certainly just paused next to his team. He's going there again. Ulysses Badeo, his physio,
15.
closest to him there. Of course, physio and fitness trainer Marco Panicki, who formerly with Novak Djokovic. There's the pair.
DC breaks them down. Those two guys have got to build them up.
(40-15).
He does tend to sort of conserve energy between points, Jannik Sinner. At times he almost looks like he's sort of walking a little gingerly, but keep an eye on him here. I think you're right, Fitzy. I don't think everything is 100% in his world.
Cain, Sinner.
He does have a strange gait at times, though, doesn't he? He's got his own style of walking, and I'm not sure if it's that, but it seemed like it was more accentuated than that a few games ago, and I wondered if I'd noticed anything. He just put his left hand up a little bit with his palm up, which is a bit of body language towards his box. Gee, let's hope that there's nothing building, nothing serious. That would be a tragedy in a sporting sense.
Oh, that is a multi-combo special. That is proper ground stroking.
15. Left.
Well, Rune was struggling for a set, but he's up to speed now, and yeah, a bit of a grimace there for Sinner. Maybe it's moving to the left, to the backhand. There was no problem wide on the forehand there.
.30 left.
Oh! Ball came back at him so quickly, he had to improvise.
30-15.
Hit it pretty cleanly. You can see he's right on the baseline, no time to react, but boom, right at the center of the strings. Kids are getting pretty good at executing those shots.
I don't think it looks good.
40-15.
No, it's a real concern. Remember last year in Madrid, the Masters 1000 event, there on the clay, Sinner withdrew from the tournament. It was a right hip injury before his quarter-final against Sergio Aliassime, an injury sustained in the gym. These guys lift pretty heavy weights through competition, maybe not at the Grand Slams, but constantly working on their bodies. And yeah, he's in a bit of pain here, Sinner. Injury forced him to miss Rome, where of course he would have been desperate to play on home soil.
30.
And it's, I think, probably just remained with him at times throughout. This appears to be more on the left side, though. Well, maybe find out more at the change of ends, see if he calls for the physio.
Rune has come to play.
Please.
He has been vaporizing forehands.
Leads for
confirmation of the men who have already made it through to the quarterfinals. Yesterday, Novak Djokovic, he'll take on Carlos Alcaraz. Tommy Paul and Sasha Zverev, winners as well. New balls for Sinner. It's in the block hole, as they say across the road.
Love, 15.
What a delivery.
His tail is up here, Rune. I think he senses something. Playing much better tennis than he was in the opening set.
That is a concerned-looking camp.
30.
Yeah, and everything starts to go wrong, doesn't it? I mean, that was an aggressive return from Rune, but he had a bit of luck there because he totally mishit it and it landed almost on the baseline. So things just rolling his way at the moment, it seems.
$15, 30.
I just wonder if that's the fact that his forehand is down 12 k's an hour. Is that because of the movement? Leg not feeling great? How much is that to do with the firepower of Rune increasing?
Yeah, I think they're the two factors, aren't they,
Yep.
in the equation? That was something new, something different.
30.
He has got that in his armory. Rune, the ability to take the second serve early, move in. Just questioning whether it was the right choice. And maybe not in this moment, just with the way Sinner seems to be feeling. You want to make him play, make him move as much as possible here.
The first complaining we've seen from Rune in this match so far.
$30, 40.
A couple of occasions in the previous match, Lars Christensen just told Holger to keep it down. No complaining, no moaning, just get on with the task at hand. He's got a break point, the first of the match. At pause. The mishits go in. You just miss the lines if you're Sinner. And then if you're Rune, you get a double fault.
That was a big double fault too long. It wasn't as close as most double faults would be. He missed it by a fair way.
Yeah, and the first serve almost looked like it was mishit as well. He's struggling here.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. $15 left.
It's not looking
30.
good.
No, and you know, we often talk about how low his centre of gravity is, the ability to hug the baseline, and he looked a lot more upright there on that forehand. That's the reason he missed in the net. Sinner barely recovering after the return. Looked like all Rune had to do was roll the ball into the open space.
30-15.
Surely we'll see the physio on the court at some stage in the near future.
Yeah, those unforced are getting out of control as well. Testimony to the fact that things are falling apart somewhat for Sinner.
$40-15.
Two set points for the Dane.
Let's. First serve. Fault. $40-13.
One set point saved. Second chance for the Dane.
Second set, Rune. 6-3.
Great bounce back in the second set from Rune. Sinner is in trouble in more ways than one. It's a set apiece. Start of this third set. Let's see how it shakes out, folks.
Left. Left. 40-15. 40 love.
If there is pain when he's been forced to the extremities of the court with his movement, then he'll want to be the attacking player as often as possible here. Of course, that's a lot easier to do when you're serving. You can land first serves and attack behind it.
Game, Sinner. First game, third set.
Of course, Darren Cahill, it was announced just a couple of days ago, will depart the Sinner camp at the end of this season.
He's got a pretty good poker face, hasn't he? Killer Cahill, as we affectionately call him, Darren. Not giving anything away there, nothing.
One of the best coaches in the business. Has worked with so many players, different kinds of players, the men's and women's tours. Of course, helped Leighton when he was young, another South Australian. They're everywhere, Colin. We can't escape these guys.
Yeah, as a player and as a coach, he has added or been a super addition to our sport, Darren Cahill, in every facet.
It's
a bit of talent down there in South Australia, Fitzy.
Well, he's got the broadcaster's hat as well in the US. So he's done everything and all done with class.
This doesn't quite seem to be getting through that forehand now either. Certainly not the way it was in the opening set. What an opportunity this is now for 21-year-old Holger Rune. The Dane looking to make the quarterfinals here. That has to be the way to go. As I say, if you're struggling to move into the wide areas of the court, then hitting big and controlling the middle.
That's a good sign, though, isn't it, that he can actually put that much speed on the forehand? And because it seemed to me like he wasn't able to do that at the end of the last set. So fingers crossed, it's feeling a bit better.
Never easy as well if you're Rune and you know your opponent's got an element to play against them. It's a lot of thoughts that start going on in your head.
Yeah, it's finding the balance is the key for me, how to play. And I think Rune's getting it right at this moment. The risk is that you think, well, I'm going to try and make this guy move and put balls in play. I don't want to make any mistakes. But then you don't hit the ball big enough. I think Sinner is really struggling when he's forced into the corners here. So that's got to be Rune's plan. You know, still plenty of pace on the ball. Get him moving into the corners.
Game, Rune.
Yeah, a bit like that. Annika bottom right, Alma his sister.
Game all.
Danish friends, it looks like either in their box or just behind it. Gets plenty of Danish support wherever he goes. It's a large one. Every time I come to Australia, he always seems to get some good numbers, does the Dane.
He got some great support a couple of nights ago on Margaret Court Arena. The Danish fans really grew into the match. There was a section of Serbian supporters for Kecmanovic who were getting on his nerves a little. He was engaging with them. I was worried for a while, but the Danes came to the party as well.
Had a couple of Danish friends as well coming out to support him. Thomas and Michaela made their way over from Sydney. Big supporters of his. Love tennis, love sport in general, actually. And was super pumped to see him do well. And their interest must be peaked a little further now, given the circumstances here.
And if you look at the top half of this draw, Robbie, where we are here, this is wide open. You know, if Rune could somehow come through today against Sinner, well, the other 3 fourth rounds, Mikkelsen de Minaur tonight, Monfils Shelton, Sonego Tien. I mean, goodness me, what an opportunity it would become for someone like Holger Rune. All those players.
Yeah. In fact, my pick as an outside pick to go through was the Aussie. But I did need an upset to happen here.
Well, Alex de Minaur has played Jannik Sinner 9 times. And he's lost all 9 of them. So if you're an Australian, you might be wanting Rune to win this one. And that's looking the most likely scenario at this stage.
15-14.
And if you are hurting, how long do you stay out here? Can you cause long-term damage? It's always the worry. Yes, it's all good and well being brave and finishing the match just because it's the right thing to do, but could be at your own expense. Cranked those ground strokes, one after the other, off both sides. Still got another break point to contend with here. players at the end of their physical limits.
Yes.
Well, I think we've just witnessed the point of the tournament so far, and we've seen some good ones already. Sinner hanging on here. And he showed that bit of variety, the bit of nuance that he's added to his game to get himself over the line in that point. Nothing left, either of them.
What a bounce back after losing that point from Rune.
Advantage.
37 shots in the making.
Rune.
Brilliant response. Bounce back ability.
It's what Darren Cahill referred to pre-match for those that were with us. You know, Rune's ability to play all-out attack and power, but also sometimes just move back and make balls and be solid. That's the approach he's taking here as he tries to get the break.
That serve.
Yes.
He's hit some big second serves there today and a couple of firsts. There's some spots on the court that you just see better. I reckon it's got to be one of his best serves.
Advantage. Sinner.
That has to be the aim for Rune, to make Sinner play that kind of ball, force him into those sort of situations. You know, hitting strong into the corners. Normally where Sinner is so good, the ability to slide open stance on both wings and absorb pressure on a hard court. But he's a bit of a wounded warrior today.
Advantage. Sinner. Game, Sinner.
Well, he's embroidered that game with guts and determination, has Sinner. He is hanging on in there. He holds to lead 2-1. Well, this point was scandalous, wasn't it?
Yeah, 30-40, the second break point of the game. 37 shots, dripping in quality and effort from both players.
And he decides to take that one out the air. He knows he's going to make it. Prepared to play it, even if it was going out, Colin. But both players bleeding themselves dry to win that point. It's given everything.
Great pictures there.
You can see him shaking there. See the right hand.
Yeah, that's an uncontrollable shake, it looks like, for Sinner. Still no call for the physio or the doctor from Sinner. Obviously something he's managing himself.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, players are ready. Love, 15.
If you weren't with us on the change of ends, he nipped away for a cup of tea or a drink. Sinner was shaking, especially that right hand of his when he had his towel to his face and he was drinking out of his water bottle, almost shaking uncontrollably with the right hand.
$15 all.
Makes me wonder, is it possibly not
15,
a physical
30.
thing or an injury thing that's affecting him? Could it be a sort of an energy lull? Maybe he's not feeling well. There's a lot of uncertainty, isn't there, for Sinner when you see him shaking like that?
Mm-hmm. That's a heck of a drop shot.
30 all.
On a big point as well. He got there, just couldn't quite get the elevation.
$30.
Well, that was a complete change up, 145 kilometers an hour. Maybe even slightly mishit, and it just really challenged the timing, the contact point for Sinner.
Game, Rune. 2 games all.
Colin, you know, the more I think about it, I think the more you might be right. It may not be an injury, but because I just heard Darren there say, come on, stick to it, you know, hang in there. You know, it's almost like their reaction in the box to me is not, it's more about, well, I don't know how to sort of say it, but it's not so much a long-term thought process for them, I don't think. There's hope in their eyes. So if he can just start to feel a bit better, maybe it's just he is a bit off colour. It's not that hot. I mean, so I don't think it'd be a heat stroke or anything, but he must have some issue with food or something. Just off colour. Because, of course, if that's the case, then it can all of a sudden come good. Whereas the injury, you'd be more worried about. I believe.
Yep. In other words, just try and weather the storm, stay in it.
Yeah, and, you know, they'll have scouted Rune. They'll have seen his previous match, and about the 2 hour, 45-minute mark was where he started to really, you know, feel it, and the cramps set in. So maybe in the back of Sinner and his team's minds, okay, you know, try and ride this third set out and see where we're at in the fourth.
How often have we seen it in sport where you think an athlete is on the edge of their limits, but they're able to push themselves further and further.
Forty, 15.
The sort of tennis that won him the Paris-Bercy Masters 1000 title a couple of years ago. Jumping all over those last 2 second serves.
I find out the baseline he is when he makes contact. The weight's going forward. And that is a clean strike.
Those 2 second serve returns have just completely changed the complexion of this game. Pretty tame, low energy double fault there. Second serve dragged down into the net. He must hold on to his serve, at least, Sinner, until hopefully from his point of view he feels better.
Advantage. Sinner.
the first serve percentage of both per set. You can see Sinner's third set numbers well down. Rune's trending in the right direction, well up. You always got to look at that in conjunction with first serve points won.
Yes.
He's won 10 of 11. There you go, 91% of first serve points in this set. But just 5 of 13, 38% on the second. Rune is really attacking the Sinner second serve here. Well, the Vaughan needs some first serves to get out of this game. And that's a direct result of the way Rune has returned the second serve here, forcing Sinner to go for more, forcing a double fault, and bringing up another break point.
Unbelievable delivery. Searing the line yet again.
I think it's almost ingrained in his system now, isn't it? It's become such a winner, producing in the big moments.
Sinner. Let's serve.
Jannik continues to hang on in there, showing some steely resolve.
I mind, a real good chance.
Almost 11 and a half minutes that break was. And of course, injury timeouts and inverted commas is normally 3 minutes, so that one was stretched. We talk about the elastic limits of human performance situations like this. I need to start talking about the elastic limits of a medical timeout, Colin.
Yeah, not far off getting a shorts in warm-up there.
Yeah.
If you go over 15. So there's a lot going on here, Robbie.
30, 15.
I would read into the fact that the medical timeout was taken off the court. The fact that that would be something, you know, in the hip area, or, you know, if it's his shoulder or his elbow, then that treatment takes place on the court, right? When they really find out the full facts post-match, even then sometimes we don't know exactly what's gone on, but
he was shaking at that change of ends, though, Cole, and he received a drink. He was anxious to get a certain drink from his box, which he started sipping straight away when it arrived from the ball kid. So I don't know. To me, that still does mean a bit off colour.
yeah, I think it's possibly both. Hence the 11+ minute layoff. I think there was doctor treatment and then physio maybe as well off the court. Whatever it is,
40,
Rune
30.
will do well to come through this service game.
Game, Rune.
It's not often you see that kind of reaction from Lars Christensen.
Game's all.
But I think he totally understood the significance of that 6th game after the lengthy break. Precariously balanced is this 3rd set.
Love.
Is that slice tactical in your minds?
Yeah, I think he was certainly deliberately trying to bring Sinner into the net there.
Love.
Because the slice and his volleys are not his greatest forte. So you'd think he'd only choose to be doing that in this moment if it was tactical. That's how I see it. That's not a tactic I would use if I was him too often, because that's playing his B grade game compared to his A grade game for me.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Some strange decision making here from Rune in this game. It's not just the fact that, you know, as Vinci says, that the slice and the volleys aren't his sort of strongest suit. You know, slicing and coming in, you know, it's going to shorten the points, isn't it? You would think he would be looking to elongate the points, if anything, with the way Sinner seems to be feeling.
I think he plays his best tennis when he's accelerating to the max.
Yeah. Going after the ball as he did there.
Yep. He's almost playing recklessly.
Game, Sinner. New balls, please.
It's a comfortable hold in the end
Sinner
for Jannik.
leads 4-3.
It's 4-3, third set. A big part of building his character as well. Getting him to mix with so many great players that he was coaching.
Tactical change up there from Sinner, moving way deep in the court for the second serve return. It's the first sort of tactical adjustment we've seen from the Italian in this third set. The vast majority of it has been about survival.
Some good hands.
Yeah, good hands, but there's that play again from Rune. The short slice bringing Sinner into the net. I'm finding that one hard to understand.
Just keep doing what you've been doing, right?
Like, here's the initiative in the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I don't get this. I don't get it. I mean, he's not physically hampered, is he, to try to shorten the points? So why would he be using that tactic?
$15-30.
This will be a good test of Rune's tennis intelligence and his mental toughness right here in this situation right now. Oh, he's got away with that.
But surely that's not going to survive over time. I mean, the first one was very bricky, and he just guessed the right one, the last one, to his credit, by the way, but I don't think I like that matchup.
No.
Yeah, that first volley was not a good one. Gave it far too much air. As Fitzy says, though, to his credit, he anticipated the cross-court. Well, the second serve was 25 kilometers an hour faster than the attempted first serve there. High risk stuff. High reward when he lands it.
First serve percentage is the lowest now of the 3 sets. 65 for Rune in the opening set. It was 58 in the second. It's down to 52 now in the third.
Advantage. Rune.
this just feels like a bit of a lottery here for Rune.
Yeah, he's just gone so loose.
Yes.
And to me, that's, you know, we talked earlier about how we compare him to these top-end players, the top players. And for me, this is what makes him not quite there yet. I mean, he may get there, he may. But this is sort of wild tennis to me.
It all starts with the decision making, doesn't it, Fitzy? It's what happens between the ears.
He's back to the line already here, Rune. You know, rush to get on with things.
I always think of the mind as the glue that keeps everything together. So you've got these massive weapons at your disposal, but
Yes.
But if you consider the scoreline now, it is almost reckless to be playing like this, because if he drops this game here, he may well be down, probably down 2-1.
Yep.
A huge turning point.
Advantage, Sinner.
Feels like he's lost control of his emotions as much as anything. Bit of panic setting in.
yeah,
Decision making completely capitulating as a result.
couldn't agree with you more.
Let's. First serve.
Well, that was brave. And it's a fine line
Yes.
between being brave and being reckless.
Well said.
What is he doing? What is he doing here, Holger Rune?
Advantage.
To me, it's
Sinner.
as if he doesn't know tactically well enough what to do here. It makes no sense.
Sinner leads 5 games to 3.
Oh, what a strange game.
He may well have just thrown away a quarter-final.
It's unfathomable, some of the decision making in that game from Holger.
It just completely changed the way he was playing. You think of, you know, the best players in this sport, and I'm thinking, you know, the big three era. In the big moments, they would go to plan A. Oh well, looks like he's calling the physio here, so maybe a bit of. I mean, for me, this is almost mind games, is it?
Until the end of the set, so he might have to forfeit a couple of points or even a game. Anyway, he's had his treatment. And Sinner,
Time.
believe it or not, he's going to serve for a 2-1 lead. Would not have thought this scenario was possible 20 minutes ago, given how much the Italian was struggling.
15 left.
And if anything, that medical timeout may actually have been a positive for Sinner in this case. I take your point about it's before his serve, but any time for him to recover and feel better is good right now.
Yeah. This is why sport is the best form of reality TV, folks, because there are no scripts here. What we thought it might have been, certainly not the case. And I'll speak for myself there. I'm sure Jannik Sinner can't believe he's got 3 set points to take a 2-set-to-1 lead. Take this match by the scruff of the neck. A set littered with pitfalls and possibilities. But Jannik Sinner has found solutions. He's got a 2-sets-to-1 in a documentary, and his words ring so true to me right now. He said your mental attitude will eventually define your success. And I think that applies to both players right here, right now. Let's get the 4th set underway.
Enough. Left. Left.
We saw Holger Rune have the treatment towards the end of that 3rd set, and this could be telling. Look at the average first serve speed, set by set. Started at 201 kilometers an hour on average in set 1. It was down to 181 in set 3. It looks like it's really dropped here, struggling to push up. Got the treatment on the right knee, the right quad, and you really need that to push up into the serve.
Game 1. First game, 4th set.
It's going to be one of those sets of tennis, I think, Fitzy, where both players are going to just be eyeballing each other the whole time. How you looking? How you looking?
What are you looking at?
Brilliant, just brilliant. Look at the discipline he has getting down to that backhand. Someone quite tall. It's one of his greatest strengths. Technically magnificent.
Looks like he's broken the net there with that first serve. Certainly damaged it.
Has proved pivotal in the outcome of the third set. Rune had another chance in the fifth game, one more break point. Wasn't able to secure it. And then for some strange reason, just started to change his tactics after the timeout.
Yeah, a real head scratcher. I don't think Rune is 100% physically here. We saw that the serve speeds were down in his opening service game of this fourth set. So we'll keep an eye on things. He may well have had a bit of work on that. You would think Sinner will be feeling better now than he was, certainly early in the third.
But again, especially if it's dizziness or low blood pressure. His hand was shaking at the change of ends when he was drinking his water and tiling himself down.
Jannik Sinner to serve.
But if it's a hip injury, something he's had before, it hampered him earlier on in the 2024 season. He had to pull out of Madrid because of it. If it's that, it's not just going to go away. But I tell you what, he'll be looking up at the scoreboard and feeling a whole lot better about his chances now with a 2-1 lead. Rune's won the opening game of the fourth. Love one.
Let's for serve.
Well, when you've got that in your arsenal, there's no need to hit short slices, is there? I mean, that's as big as it gets. Just body weight through the ball, 165 kilometers an hour, generated with ease.
all.
This is the kind of tennis we saw in his match against Kecmanovic. He was down 2-1 on the brink of going out 4-2 in the fourth set. Just started teeing off. It's reminiscent as well of his match that he played against Holger Rune. Excuse me, that Rune played against Rublev a couple of years ago. Started to have cramping issues at the tail end of the fourth set there, and then early on in the fifth he just started teeing off Fitzy and actually got himself to match point. And when he got there, he changed his tactics. It was unbelievable, like we're seeing today. He just started to push the ball. Rublev came back and beat him.
Well, it looks like he's teeing off here in this game.
Game, Sinner.
Just looked like a scenario
Game all.
at the end of that third set where when you're playing an injured, a hampered, you know, maybe an unwell opponent, of where Rune just changed his plan too much. You might want to tweak a little bit, but you can't get too far away from what your game is. And, you know, for Rune, it's big hitting, it's taking risk. And it's certainly a power, the foundation of his game. Let's see how the serve speeds are here, because they were down his opening service game of this set, but that was some time ago now, after the delay.
Enough. Let's for serve.
I mean, we know that the service is probably the most important shot in the game, but given the physical ailments of both, it seems it could be even more important in this contest.
.30, 15.
Getting free points, getting nice +1 looks like this. Trying to keep the point short.
Yeah, it's the way he needs to play, just poor execution on that occasion.
I think one break could serve here for Sinner, and the writing is on the wall.
Every point so important at this level. 30 love up on serve, misses a short forehand. You think, well, it's no big deal, but it might be, because all of a sudden it's 30 all here.
He didn't like that,
40.
did he? Going wide and having to put a lot of weight on that right side, on that right leg. He had to squat and push off, and now he's shrugging his shoulders towards the box a little bit.
There's a ticket to the party. Sinner with the early break in the fourth. How crucial that could prove to be. Play with that poker face as Sinner did.
It's enough.
Well, that's a promising statistic from Sinner's point of view. 96% of the time he goes on to win the set if he breaks his opponent in their opening 2 service games of a set. He looks like he's stabilized in terms of his condition, Sinner. I'm not saying he's 100%, but he's certainly looking more comfortable than he was.
We know this guy's got horsepower.
30-15.
And he can produce it off both wings.
It's the kind of winner we saw from 2-1, 4-2 down against Kecmanovic. He just took the safety catch off and went for everything.
Sinner is going to be relentless, though. Just a study and concentration at the moment.
Game, Sinner. Sinner leads 3-1.
Ferociously swift and accurate, and that's a heady cocktail.
You know, we saw Jack Draper yesterday after playing 15 sets in his first 3 matches, winning in 5 sets 3 times in a row. He came out yesterday and he wasn't a shadow. He competed hard and he tried hard, but physically he wasn't quite the same. There's just an inkling of that, I think, in Holger Rune now. He's just lost an edge. That was impressive, though.
Well, a very gingerly walk after Sinner makes the effort here.
Ulysses Badeo's physio going through the emotional roller coaster.
It was funny because for a split second there, he showed a negative emotion, and then he saw the rest of the teams being, and then he changed to positive. Come on. It's in the mind. Your mental attitude will eventually define your success.
Left. Game, Rune.
Okay.
It's a
nice, comfortable hold, just what the doctor ordered for the Dane. But he's down a break in the 4th. Approaching the 3-hour mark now. You've got to be a sprinter, you've got to be a marathoner in this sport. And as the great Rafael Nadal used to say, you have to learn to suffer. And that's what both of these guys are doing right now. They are digging deep into their reserves.
Love, 15.
Can't run down the clock. Got to win the last point.
All.
First serve of Sinner feels like it's been doing a lot of damage. It's been devastatingly accurate.
Yeah, half of his serves in this set have been unreturned.
How about that? Hasn't lost a point when he's landed the first serve.
Did well just to absorb that return from Rune. It was struck well.
I mean, overall, he's just redlining more, Holger, isn't he? Because the points are shorter, so there's no long points involved really anymore. He's just going hard early, virtually every point. Well, and they're not lasting longer than 1, 2, or 3 shots generally.
Oh, what a skill merchant this guy is.
40.
Yeah, that was
15.
clever. Really clever. He took the speed off that and just used his wrist to roll the ball short. That was a deliberate play. Yeah, that's skill.
Game, Sinner. Sinner leads 4 games to 2.
Just creeps ever closer to the finishing line, does Jannik. And maybe one more bend to negotiate, perhaps 2. But he'll know that checkered flag is not far away.
His serve and indeed his focus on holding his serve has been so impressive. It's what's carried him through here.
And you called it. You highlighted the fact that was going to be so important, Colin.
Yeah, he's only been broken once today, Sinner. It's in
59.
the second set. So since the real physical struggles at the start of the third, he's still somehow held on to his serve 100% of the time. And it's got him into a winning position now.
all. $15-30.
Just to get back to your point with Sinner. He's only been broken 3 times. The whole tournament so far. One of those being today. Posting incredible numbers behind his serve. What a time to do it in this 4th set as well.
30-all.
Suddenly now perhaps a second wind for Holger.
Yeah, the serve speeds seem to be back up, 201 kilometers an hour there. He's going to leave it all out there.
crushing it.
30-14.
He prepares with that racket face, pointing away from the court, and then just whips it through, using the hand and the wrist. Gets the body weight into it as well.
Ferociously swift at 170 k's an hour. That's the biggest one I've seen all tournament. It's brought up a break point, Cole.
Well, that had the feeling of a virtual match point.
Yes.
For Sinner, who had his chance. Attackable backhand, just snatched at it.
I do so often think about the psychology that goes on around a moment like that. 5-2, it's pretty much done and dusted, we know. But if Rune can hold here, suddenly you think you're very much back in the match.
Advantage. Sinner.
We spoke to Darren Cahill, didn't we, during the warm-up? We said any W will do. This has been an eventful one, potentially. My goodness.
Another chance to get a double break. Surely that's enough now for Sinner.
Sinner
It's
leads
been a
5 games to 2.
Herculean effort from the top seed, and he leads 5-2 in the fourth. Years I've been doing this, Cole, this one's right up there. This has had so many twists and turns. I'm not sure a Dan Brown novel could compete with this. Sinner serving with new balls for a place in the quarterfinals. Oh, stop it.
Applause from Darren Cahill. A huge applause from this Rod Laver Arena crowd. At times today, Holger Rune has shown us that his best level is as high as anyone in the world. Well, he's not giving up here just yet.
Thank you.
Simply out of this world. Both players just giving every ounce of energy they
15
have.
all. 30-15. All.
Well, this is about as close as you get to a God-ordained miracle. An hour and a half ago, Sinner looked down and out on his feet. And somehow, he has wrestled his way to match point.
Please. Again, sad match, Sinner.
Sensational from Sinner.
6-3, 6-3, 6-2.
Mentally, a fortress today. And somehow he gets the better of Holger Rune and is through to the quarterfinals for a third time here in Australia.